Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. Let me introduce my guests who are here with me on the first part of the program, again from San Juan County. The San Juan County Public Works Director, Nick Porell, is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Welcome back to KSJE.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Also, Solid Waste Director, Matt Basinger, is here. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to have you here as well. And, of course, Devin Neeley is here as well, the County Public Relations Manager. Devin, good morning.
Thanks for having us, Scott.
Thank you for coming in, everybody. It's good to have all of you here this morning. So let's get started and talk a little bit about what we are talking about this morning, which is solid waste and the transfer stations in the county. And, of course, the county operates how many?
12.
Of these? 12 around the county. And that's a big number.
It is a big number.
And we have a big county, so I guess that would make sense, right?
Indeed.
And so there's been an increase, though, in the rates to use those stations, correct?
Sure, Scott. So last month, the County Commission approved what I would say is a modest increase in fees at the transfer stations. But before I get into that, maybe I could describe what was the driving force behind that.
Sure.
Our solid waste budget's roughly $2.5 million a year in operations. It's funded by a 1/8 of 1% increment in our gross receipts tax, which are collected in unincorporated areas of the county. Those gross receipts collections have seen a reduction of roughly 53% since 2009. So obviously that's a sizable drop in budget. As residents are aware, as a result of those decreases, we did institute rates at the transfer stations in 2011. Which have been unchanged since 2011. In 2017, we began charging residents, or allowed Waste Management to charge residents at the county landfill. And in our FY 19-20 budget, we're anticipating roughly a $600,000 subsidy from the county general fund to operate the transfer stations. That's obviously a sizable amount of money in an economy that we're, gross receipts collections are significantly down. So our commission did task us with trying to reduce that subsidy. So one thing we took a look at was rates, which again haven't changed since 2011. So the rate changes that we did are in line with the consumer price index increases over that period, which would have roughly been about 30%. A $6 charge in 2011 should be about $8.50 now. Based on those CPIs increases. So
that just goes along with inflation, basically, is what you're talking about, right? So if those rates had kept up with inflation, this is what they would be charging today.
That's correct.
Okay.
So for a resident bringing 1 or 2 bags of trash to a transfer station, pricing doesn't change. It's still $1 per bag for a 33-gallon bag of trash. If you're bringing up to 1.5 cubic yards, that price will now be $5, where before it would have been about $3. And for a full 3 cubic yard load, what would have been $6 is now $9. So again, I'd say a moderate increase in fees. That's anticipated to generate about $200,000 in additional revenue at transfer stations. So we still have a sizable subsidy from the general fund, which we're not putting all of this on the users. It's up to Matt and I to come up with an operations plan, perhaps with a reduction of hours, reduction of staff, to come up with that additional $300,000 in subsidy. So there will be more operational changes, but we're hoping this is, the fee increase that we proposed will be at least, a couple of years before we have to reevaluate fees. So.
Right, sure. And Matt, let me turn to you a little bit about the job of collecting all this trash. And on these transfer stations, I mean, it is a county service to folks who live in some of the more rural parts of the county to be able to drive to one of these transfer stations and get rid of their trash and not have to haul all the way to the dump. at Crouch Mesa, right?
Correct, but it's also available for any resident of San Juan County. You don't have to just live in a rural area.
Well, it's true.
If you're a resident of San Juan County, you're welcome at our stations.
Sure. And even out-of-state folks are being available to use these too at a little different rate, though. Isn't that true?
So that is a change. The previous solid waste policy did out-of-county and out-of-state residents were not allowed to use our transfer stations. There was an interest in that, particularly from folks on Navajo Nation who don't have other options. If you live in Arizona, let's use, Tisnos Pass, for example.
Sure, just over the border. That's true.
Just over the border. The most convenient place to dispose of your trash is Shiprock, which currently wasn't allowed. So we did take a look at what the county's cost is per cubic yard of trash, and it's roughly $9. So what we proposed to the commission and they accepted was we will accept up to 3 cubic yards of trash at a rate of $9 per cubic yard for out-of-state or out-of-county residents. So it's at no cost to the county. It's we're not providing any subsidy, but we also are providing that convenience to folks who don't have other options.
Gotcha. And Devin Neeley, let me turn to you a little bit about what this means for folks, because I know folks always are concerned whenever there's an increase in the cost to get rid of trash that may be cause more illegal dumping. And of course, the county, I know, is working on ways to try to report that and get rid of that as well.
Certainly, and San Juan County has been faced with a problem with illegal dumping for a very long time. There's already fines in place. There's already deterrence in place, and yet it's not stopping people. So we've already implemented a pretty robust program to clean up some of these illegal dump sites. We have an app in place, the Clean Up San Juan app, that's free and available for Android and iPhones, and it makes it easy to report these illegal dump sites because sometimes they're not cleaned up because no one knows where they are. So this program is already in place. We hope that a moderate increase of just a few dollars really is what it equates to. Just a few dollars isn't going to increase the illegal dumping, but we stand ready to continue to chase down those problems. And we saw just recently, if we want to mention that quickly, that San Juan County folks found this dump site. We had the Sheriff's Department out there, found the person responsible, and that person is facing charges for dumping. And that was within a matter of hours. Is that correct, Matt?
No.
So, the Sheriff's Department is vested in this as well to find these people responsible for illegal dumping.
Right.
And as I mentioned, the fine can be up to $1,000 and up to 90 days in jail.
And for our viewers who are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, I will just let them know, our radio listeners know, that we're seeing an image of this illegal dump area. Looks like a bunch of trash, a piece of plywood, and goodness knows what else was out there, but fairly extensive and large collection of trash.
So what pops to my mind is you see the trash there, and Matt was out on that to clean that up. How much trash was it, Matt?
It was well over 3 cubic yards.
Okay, so but the fee to dump that would have been a few dollars?
Call it $9.
$9.
$9 to dump that,
as opposed to a $1,000 fine.
$1,000 fine and 90 days in jail. You know,
Yeah.
so really, what you need to do is you need to weigh whether it is worth it for you to. Probably that was further than a convenience station for somebody would be my bet, with as many convenience stations as we have in the county. So
Right.
we rely on the public to not only help us find these illegal dump sites, but to do the right thing and make sure that they're putting the trash where it should be going.
That's true. Very true. Well, again, it's an important reminder. And again, that app is available for both Android and Apple iPhone users.
That's correct. Clean Up San Juan, and it is free.
All right. There you go. Thank you, Devin. And so, gentlemen, with this new change, I mean, you're hoping, obviously, to keep all the stations open with all 12, right, that we have here in San Juan County, and being able to help those folks who find them convenient to use.
That's right, Scott.
Okay. Very good. Also, we want to talk a little bit about Hazardous Waste Cleanup Day and Collection Day, which is happening for the county. That's happening this weekend, right, on Saturday?
Sure. So Saturday is, we do a twice annual household hazardous waste collection where county residents, as well as residents of Aztec, Bloomfield, and the town of Kirtland, can dispose of hazardous waste free of charge. That's paint, automotive fluids, oils, fertilizers. In the past, the city of Farmington has participated in that program. This year, they opted out. They have their own collections program where Waste Management will provide curbside pickup. I think it's at the request of citizens. It's not a scheduled day. It's a
Right.
kind of an on-call
But
system.
it's at any time throughout the year, is my understanding,
It is.
too, in the city of Farmington, so that's different.
So this year, when you do come, you'll be asked to provide proof of residency. That can be your driver's license, that can be a utility bill, but we will be checking. And if you are from the incorporated portion of the city of Farmington, you will be turned away and given a flyer that does have the information for how Waste Management will do the collection at your house.
Okay, but if I'm not, and I live in the county, or I live in Aztec, Bloomfield, or Kirtland, I can come to the one location.
It is. It's going to be at the county offices at 105 South Oliver Drive in Aztec. I'm sorry, 101. 100.
100.
100.
Okay, it's one of those.
105 will get you there, too.
If you
I'm sure.
turn on South Oliver, you will probably not miss it. So, but there is that. But yes, and it's from what, 9 to 1 on Saturday?
9 to 1, yes.
Okay, and things that we can bring, as you mentioned, auto fluids, brake fluid, antifreeze, household cleaners. I'm looking at the list here: gardening chemicals, insecticides, all those things that are really hard to dispose of. This is kind of what you're talking about. But there are some other things you shouldn't bring.
It is. There's the list of things you can't bring. Any medical waste, explosive.
I never know how to get rid of my medical waste. I don't know how to do that.
It's
but I'm
not
still
a yard
looking.
waste cleanup, so no yard debris.
Right. Okay.
No appliances, tires. That stuff all still needs to go to the landfill or transfer stations.
Gotcha.
And it's only for residential waste, not commercial
Okay.
waste. So if you're a painting company and you have a whole bunch of extra paint, don't show up with your truck that says Joe's Painting and expect
And
to
try to get rid of it. Yeah, understood. That makes sense. And Matt, again, all this stuff has to be dealt with differently, right? When we're talking about trying to get it disposed of properly, and that's why you have a separate collection for it, right? These items.
Right. We can't accept any of these listed items at our stations. All we
Not at the
accept
transfer, not at the dump, the landfill, right? They all have to go to separate places, right, to be
Yeah.
properly disposed of.
Right. So
Which is
all-
why we have these special events.
Exactly.
It's a specialized contractor that the county hires for these events.
Gotcha. Okay. But it is happening this Saturday. This is the second time, twice a year, and this is the fall, and then there won't be another opportunity until spring.
You got it.
So this is a time to clean out the garage and look for some of these things and get rid of them safely and responsibly is the way to do it. And again, Devin Neeley, this is again a service that the county provides and negotiates with these contractors to clean up this specialized trash, right, and waste.
Yeah, this event is administered by the Office of Emergency Management with the help of Public Works and some other folks around the county. But it's really a way to keep, honestly, I've got a pile of CFL light bulbs I can't throw in the trash at my house. I don't know what to do with them. They're not working for me. This is a great way to get rid of stuff like that. I will mention with paint, if you take the lid off the paint and let it dry out,
Right.
you can toss that in your dumpster.
That is not hazardous anymore
Correct.
once it's dry.
It is no longer hazardous if...
Spoken like a man who's done some painting in his life.
hey, I'm not good at it, but I'll do it. But the paints, that's another thing. I've got probably 5 gallons of paint sitting in the basement in varying states of separation, and I may or may not ever use those colors ever again. This is a good way to get rid of it. Or,
Sure.
like I said, take the lid off, and then you can throw it in the dumpster. But everybody's got, all these random things sitting around, some household cleaners from 1973 that it should not be in your trash can. So this is a service that we're proud to provide, and Farmington's doing things a little bit different, but San Juan County is still working to provide this service for the rest of the residents.
Exactly, which is a great service to have. So that's wonderful. Well, gentlemen, we are out of time for this segment, but I appreciate you all coming in, and we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the Office of Emergency Management when we come back. So thank you both for coming in, and Devin, you're going to stick around.
You bet.
All right. Great. Thank you very much. My guest from San Juan County here on KSJE, and I'll be back with more in just a moment, everybody. The time is 8:25. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.